Hello, today I will be discussing literary devices you need to know in order to successfully analyze text. Please take notes so you can create your own examples and analyze works we read in class. To begin, let's review simile and metaphor. Remember, a simile uses the words like or as. For example, the clouds floated across the sky like puffy marshmallows. The word like compares clouds to marshmallows. Writing a metaphor is easy. I can take my simile and turn it into a metaphor by saying the puffy marshmallow clouds floated across the sky. Simile and metaphor are often used in imagery. Imagery occurs when the writer describes something so well the reader can almost see it. Imagery is often referred to as mental pictures. Another common device is foreshadowing. Foreshadowing is giving the reader clues about what will happen later in the plot. For example, if we are watching a movie and the camera zooms in on a knife lying on the kitchen counter, we know that knife will be important later in the movie. In Shakespeare's Macbeth, the fact that the play opens with a scene including 3 evil witches foreshadows the evil events that will occur later in the play. Personification is giving an object human qualities. One example is, the trees danced in the wind. Human beings dance, therefore the trees are being personified. Other important terms are tone and mood. The word tone refers to the emotional perspective or feelings a writer has about a subject. For example, a writer could be bitter about an injustice or social wrong. On the other hand, mood is the emotional response of the reader. Tone is related to mood in that the tone helps create the mood. In the writing, where the tone is bitter about a social injustice, the mood created could be anger or outrage. Another term you may know is onomatopoeia. This is when a word sounds like what it represents. Examples are buzzing bee or booming thunder. One literary device often used in our everyday conversations is hyperbole. Hyperbole is using extreme exaggeration. Saying, "I'm so hungry I could eat a horse" is an example of hyperbole. Another example is, "These shoes are killing me." The terms connotation and denotation deal with the meanings of words. Think of denotation as the dictionary meaning, while connotation is the meaning we attach to a word. For example, let's use the word chick. The denotation or dictionary meaning is a baby chicken, while the connotation or meaning we attach to the word is a cute girl. The next term I want to discuss is irony. Irony refers to how a person, situation, statement, or circumstance is not as it would seem. 2 common types of irony are verbal irony and dramatic irony. Verbal irony occurs when the speaker means something totally different than what he is saying. Verbal irony also occurs when a character says something jokingly or in jest that is actually true. The literary device understatement is often confused with verbal irony. Understatement occurs when a writer or speaker deliberately makes a situation seem less important or serious than it actually is. For example, saying, "It's just a small scratch," when the car has a huge dent in it is understatement. Another example would be saying, "I'm feeling a little under the weather," when you actually have pneumonia. Dramatic irony occurs when the audience or reader is aware of something the character is not. In horror movies, we know there is a man wearing a hockey mask and holding a knife standing behind the door. However, the character does not and goes blindly to her death. Another example of dramatic irony is the movie Titanic. The audience knows the passengers are boarding a doomed ship. Another important literary device is paradox. Paradox is commonly used in literature and our conversations. A paradox occurs when ideas or objects that seem contradictory or opposites in fact have a deep meaning when used together. For example, we often hear the phrase, "It is better to give than receive." Many would think it is better to get a present than give one, but when the concept is examined, we see these conflicting ideas are true. We often have great fun and pleasure selecting and giving a gift. Another term you will need to know is motif. It is spelled M-O-T-I-F. A motif is a recurring object or concept in a work of literature. One motif in medieval literature is the dragon. In many tales, the hero must battle a dragon. In the Hunger Games, one motif is fire. We see fire playing different roles, but it frequently represents Katniss. For example, Cinna uses fire when designing Katniss's costumes. Her first costume is covered in synthetic flames, earning her the name the Girl on Fire. Katniss is also the Girl on Fire because of her high scores in the training tryouts. Cinna uses the phrase to describe Katniss's temperament. During the games, the phrase the Girl on Fire takes on a literal meaning after Katniss is hit in the leg by a fireball. The many ways Suzanne Collins uses fire in the Hunger Games is an excellent example of motif. Two other common literary devices are alliteration and assonance. Alliteration is the repetition of beginning consonant sounds. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers is an example of alliteration. The consonant sound P is at the beginning of many of the words. Assonance is the repetition of beginning vowel sounds. Allison actually eats a lot of apples is an example. Allison, actually, and apples all begin with the vowel sound A. The next term I will discuss is foil. A foil is a character or object used to emphasize a character's qualities. In Sherlock Holmes stories, Watson is Holmes' foil. Because an intelligent medical doctor seems dull-witted compared to Sherlock Holmes, the reader sees just how brilliant Sherlock Holmes is. Do not confuse the term allusion, A-L-L-U-S-I-O-N, with the word illusion. An allusion is a reference to another work of literature, an historical event or person, a work of art, the Bible, or mythology. An example of allusion is saying a boy is a real Romeo with the ladies. We are expected to know that Romeo is the sweet-talking lover in Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. These are not all the literary devices you will need to know during the course of the year. However, knowing these terms will give you a good start at analyzing and better understanding text you read in class and for pleasure. I hope you've enjoyed this lecture and found it beneficial. Have fun, stay safe, and keep reading.